So now what we can also do is we can, that although the tree itself is a combination of classifiers, which kind of classifiers? The threshold classifiers. We can, and it is basically combined in a cascade way. We can have combination of trees also, and that is called a random forest. So what we can have is that we can have a tree 1, and we can have tree 2, and we can have tree 3, and we can take the average decision of the 3 trees for any test point, average or mode in case of a classifier, and average in case of a regressor. And by the way, the internal decision making of regression would be that we would have a threshold. We will have a fixed value for a particular. The leaf node would be that we'll have a fixed value for a particular x. Okay, fixed output value for a particular x. Okay, and then we will have to decide that how can we find a threshold so that we have the maximum or the minimum mean square error, average mean square error on both the children. So here we can take average, and that average basically becomes an ensemble of trees, which is a random forest. So this is an ensemble of trees. So now what is different about these trees? Because if you look at all these trees and we start with a comprehensive tree algorithm that looks at all dimensions and all thresholds at every node when it is trying to split the node, then we will get the same tree with every training algorithm. So we have to somehow change the tree so that we can have an ensemble. So we have to include some kind of randomness. Okay, so there are multiple ways of including randomness. Okay, and I will talk about randomness in general, and then we'll come back to random forest. So one is that we can initialize, for example, neural network weights and biases. We can initialize them using different random set of weights, and that works for only non-convex optimizations and non-convex models and so forth, where you are doing the optimization. Doesn't work for trees. Okay. The other thing that we can do is we can have different subsets of variables on which we will train. So for example, if you have x1 through xd, now these are dimensions, not training points. I can take x1 through x5 and then x5 through xd as two different inputs to two different classifiers, and these would be the two classifiers that I will ensemble. Okay, or I can have, it need not be in an order, they can also be random subsets, and these subsets could also have overlap with each other. Okay, so we could have something like this kind of subsets also. Another way of doing that would be a random number of training samples. So think about it this way: you have x11 all the way up to x1d, and so this is your data matrix, and then here you have xn1 all the way up to xnd. Okay, so we can randomize like this, or we can randomize like this. So we can have subsets of training data with replacement, and that will be that is something called bagging. So with that we can have independent classifiers that we can ensemble together. Okay, and that works very well for some of the classifiers like neural networks and so forth. We can use any of these methods to randomize multiple classifiers. Now let's come back to let's talk a little bit more about random initialization. So let's say you have neural networks. Okay, and each of them also has a bias. Each of the neurons also has a bias. So all these arrows have some weight associated with them, weight or bias associated with them, and they can be randomly initialized. So two different neural networks that are initialized differently can lead to two different solutions, and we can ensemble those two solutions. Okay. But this wouldn't work for convex optimization, because anytime you uh, initialized differently, for example, weights of a support vector machine or logistic regression, they will all converge to the same answer. So it doesn't work well for them. So the other thing is variable selection. So for example, we can do this for random forests. What we can say is that at every point, at every node, we are not going to use all d variables. So let's say you have 100 variables. We are not going to test every threshold for all 100 variables. Instead, okay, we will randomly select d less than d variables for testing optimality, optimal decision, optimal variable. So let's say we take only 5 variables and randomly pick 5 variables out of 100. Only for those 5 variables we'll decide which of these 5 variables and what threshold for those 5 variables is going to lead to maximum decrease in impurity, weighted average impurity at this node. So that randomization, essentially when we do it for multiple trees, we will get multiple different trees and we can ensemble those. And that is basically an example of how to do this for a random forest. And once we do that, the random forest turns out to have nice properties, that it generalizes well in several situations, and it gives very strong benchmark results as a classifier, as a go-to classifier, especially when your data has a lot of discrete variables. Because for discrete variables, these axis aligned hypothesis class of each internal node is essentially selecting one particular attribute value for a discrete variable. So these need not always be threshold. This can also be, for example, if you have a discrete variable, it can be that whether xi is equal to one of the discrete values. So let's say value vj out of like say v1, v2 and v3. Okay, that could be your decision, and then you could make a yes or no decision about that. Just that the analysis that you decrease the impurity for classification or decrease the mean square error for regression for the children compared to the parent, that still remains the same. Then there's something called bagging, which is training on random subsets of data. So let's say you have these training points. And I will take random subsets. I can take this subset, I can take I can take this subset and so forth. And for these different subsets, I will train different classifiers, and that's how I will get randomness and some independence between the classifiers, and then I can ensemble those. So these are different ways of creating ensembles, and each of the components of the ensemble may not be very good, just that it has to be better than random. Okay, it has to be something called a weak learner, and then combining them will give us better results.